Mizrat Hashem, we're continuing the afternoon class before Mincha from Order to Tzion. The question is, yes, we said yesterday, if in the end of yesterday's class, if you're allowed to use machinery or a goy to make for you the things that are required on the Shema for the purpose of to have specifically, as long as a Jew standing over them. Now, it says like this. Katav Arosh. So the question says Seder Or Litzion. Rabbi Shaul explains. It's written in the Rosh Hilchot Sefer Torah al Masechta Menachot that this is the language. Tzarich sheyaved et ha'orot l'shem Sefer Torah. A Jew has to work on the hide of the animal for the Sefer Torah. Kedamrin, and it says it beperek hanizikin over there. V'katav Rav Baruch. Zal de'im hagoy me'abdo v'Yisrael omed al gabo misayo yesh b'yo mamash. However, if a goy is doing all the labor and the Jew is standing as a watchman or at least helps him a little bit, then it has some significant allowance. The goy avid adata de Israel, because the goy over here is working, doing everything because of what the Israel, the Jew, is watching over him. And because basically it's like lishma of the Israel. So in this reference with the Sefer Torah, the rabbis have allowed for the goy to work for us. Even though we say when the writing takes place for the writing a get according to the Masoret, the goy adata the nafshi ka'avid, that even though that if a goy is writing a get, he's doing it on his own, and he's not doing it. What's his name? Rambam Zal Pasag De'im Ivedan Goy Pesulin. So, like this, when a goy writes a get, we're saying that he's not doing it because the way that the Jew is going to command him to do it. He's going to do it with his own, I guess, maybe for his parnasah. Maybe he knows it's a Sofer. Sometimes we found that already. To be very careful in reference to buying Sefer Torah, who you buying it from, because there was many times discovered Arabic women, they write very nicely, and they sometimes wrote Sefer Torah, copied the Sefer Torah, and many times they were sold as a kosher Sefer Torah. They're not. However, the Rambam ruled that if the goy did the hide of the animal to be prepared for the tefillin or to Sefer Torah, that would be pasul. Even though a Jew is standing there and constantly screaming, this hide is being working for the purpose of Sefer Torah, the goy should think about it, or Hashem tefillin or for tefillin. In that Rambam explains over there that the goy is never going to do it l'shem a person who's requiring him. He's doing it for himself because he wants to get paid. He really doesn't care what Sefer Torah for Sefer Torah tefillin. He doesn't understand all those things anyway, so it can never work in that case. According to Rambam, therefore, says Rambam over there, that anything that needs to have lishma, that either the Sefer Torah, tefillin, tzitzit, all those things, the hide, working on the hide, preparing it, that also will be all considered if it's done that requires it should be done lishma for the sole purpose of using it for the holy aspect. When a goy does them, even if the Jew standing on top of him, it will not. I mean, on top of him, meaning regulating it. Even if the Jew is regulating it and making sure that the goy does say it's for the tefillin, it doesn't matter because the goy does not understand these things. However, the nation doesn't follow Rambam; they follow Rav Baruch. Because truly, to work on a hide, which is a very, very difficult labor and it's very hard labor, it's very hard to find Jews doing that business. And that's what it is. However, when it's coming to get, where the requirement to write it has to be done by a kosher sofer, and it has to be done for the purpose of for the husband and for the woman, however, the rabbi, everybody agrees over there, a goy should not be involved doing that. However, preparing the ladder, for the purpose of the cloth, for the purpose of using it for, that will be allowed. לא בעניין אלא תחילת העיבוד כשישים האור בתוך הסיד. So over there, we already said that the goy, I guess the most hard labor, the most dirty labor that most Jews don't want to do, so that will be allowed for the goy to be doing. Shemar az ani oseh l'shem sefer Torah, and the Jew, the observer, has to tell him, by the way, you're doing it for the purpose of the mitzvah of Sefer Torah. Okay? From here we learn, we learn from there, that Rabbi Yehuda by a milah lishma. So Rabbi Yehuda says, no, Brit Milah has to be done by a Jew, it cannot be done by a goy. ואף began ימול גוי, ואפילו ימול גוי. ולא אמרינן דת דנפשי כעבד, כיוון בגרה נעשית, ודאי הוא עושה על דת מה שישראל אומר לו. But what about if you don't have a competent rabbi or mohel, and you have a good professional mohel of a goy, that most hospitals today in America, they have, the doctors do the Brit Milah, they do circumcision. So in that case, if a Jew is standing there observing the situation and telling the goy what to do, then it would be allowed in that case also to do Brit Milah. Also too, Baal Itur wrote like this, the Sagi Begoshi Abdenu Lishman, so the Rosh and the Baal Itur also agree that it could be a goy does the Brit Milah, and as long as the Jew is supervising it. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. By the way, if you hear a bracha, I'm sure the whole world knows about it, just in case somebody who doesn't know, if you hear bracha on the recording, you should not answer amen. If you hear it on the recording. If you hear it live, then you have to answer amen. Okay. So you see over here that there's a machloket. Rambam, who says nothing that needs lishma could be done by a non-Jew. According to Rosh, yes. So there's a machloket now. So the Rabbi explains. Im ibud or Sefer Torah utfilin mo'il al yidei goy shi'avdenu lishman דלהראש מהני כי ישראל עומד על גביו ומסייתו ולרביו לא מהני ואפילו דיעבד פסול. According to Rambam, even b'diavad it will not be acceptable. According to Rosh, it will be acceptable in the cases that we just described. Okay, so continues the Or LeTzion. Shulchan Aruch b'Hilchot Tzitzit. Let's see what Shulchan Aruch paskins there. Rabbi over there said it's Siman Lamed Bet, Seif Tet, the 32nd chapter and Halacha 9. מביא מחלוקת הראש והרמב"ם הנזכר וזה לשונו. So the Maran brings the argument between Rambam and Rosh, and this is the language that he uses over there. אם יבדו הגוי להרמב"ם פסול, אפילו יש לה ישראל לאבד לשמו. אפילו אומר לו ישראל לאבד לשמו. So according to Rambam, even if a Jew is supervising, it will be still asur that the cloth cannot be used. However, Rosh says it's a mutar, it's allowed to be used if the Jew is standing him and supervising him. This is the language of the Shulchan Aruch. So too, the Maran paskins in Hilchot Tzitzit. What does he say there? In Seif, chapter 11, Siman Yud Aleph Seif Bet, chapter 11, Halacha 2, מביא מחלוקת זו לגבי טביה, וזה לשונות, טבען, so he brings the same thing. What about kneading the tzitzit? Can it be done or not? So he brings the same מחלוקת. טבען נוכרי וישראל עומד על גבו, ואומר שיעשה לשמן רמב"ם פסול לראשו כשר, עד כאן לשונות. So you see over there, that Shulchan Aruch says clearly that the kneading of the tzitzit is a machloket also. According to Rambam, would be not allowed. According to Rosh, would be allowed as long as the Jew is supervising him and standing and guiding him and telling him that he should have it in mind for the mitzvah of tzitzit. Okay? Beit Yosef. Let's go back to Beit Yosef, says Betzion, Siman Yud Aleph. Okay, let's go back over there in Beit Yosef where he discusses on Tur Shulchan Aruch. On Tur, where in the 11th chapter, at the end of the 5th halacha, but in reference to the kneading of tzitzit. Lamad din ze the tavian tzitzit de la rosh kasher. So he teaches you that the rosh says it's kasher. Medivrei harosh hanira legabei ibut. והוא הדין שמועיל גבי תביעה עם ישראל אף אגב וכן אגרה שם. So he brings down that מקור לזה מדברי הראש הנזכר להם. So the gra over there in Tur also brings down the words of Rosh. So Mashma, he agrees with the Rosh. אבל הדגמר ורבי עקיבא איגר שם תמו על השולחן ערוך בזה. So הדגמר, who's דגמר? אבל no. Okay. So he brings down that there is actually Rabbi Akiva Eiger. What's the name again, Avraham? I don't know. Okay. And another that actually are surprised with Shulchan Aruch that he holds like Rosh. The Rabbi Midivrei HaRosh Mishmashma Shekol Peula Nimshechet En Mo'il Ba K'Shisrael Omed Al Gabo V'Tavya Harei Hi Peula Nimshechet. Okay, so he says, if it's a constant labor, according to Rosh even, that according to Rosh, if it's a constant labor, it would not be allowed to be done by a goy. But if it's against like kneading the tzitzit, over there it's a constant labor, and it will be very hard for the goy to have in mind constantly LaHaShem. So over there, Rosh doesn't agree. The question was, how did Maran understand Rosh to be like that? Okay, in reference to the hide of the animal, we understand the hard job is done already. So that's I guess preparation of the skin of the animal. So that would be okay, as we said, because it was very hard for the Jews to be found. But over there in Tzitzit, it's a question why Maran rules like Rosh, where in reality Rosh sounds like Rabbi Akiva wants to say, if it's what Rosh meant was an immediate job, small thought, not a long process. If it's a long process, it sounds like the Rosh would not agree. ועוד יש להקשות בפשטות השולחן ערוך הנראה, משמע שפוסק כהראש. And it's obvious that the Shulchan Aruch in the end rules like the Rosh. So what's going on? ויש הלכה ויש בתרא. So we have a rule that when the Maran brings you, some say like this, some say like this, the later some say is the halacha that the Maran paskins. ואילו גבי מצוות mitzvah. Okay, what about in reference to matzah? We know that matzah that you're going to be using the first night, which is matzah mitzvah, in the Siman chapter 460, halacha 1, pasak harambam over there, he's actually ruling like Rambam. That's shekatav v'zeh l'shono. En lashin matzah or matzat mitzvah, v'lo ofin ota al yidei goy, v'lo al yidei I guess chashash or ad kan l'shono. So over there, who is Chet Shinvav, he says that the goy over there, Shulchan Aruch says that a goy, since the matzah, it has to be matzah mitzvah, and he did lishma, it has to be done for the purpose of that mitzvah. Over there, goy cannot do, even making a flour is not allowed by the goy, let alone baking. So that he rules like Rambam. What happened here? It sounds like a not religious Jew. הזכיר כלל של הדעת הראש כאשר בעומד על גבי ומסייעו. And he doesn't bring over there that he's going to follow Rosh as long as the Jew is watching him and guiding him and supervising the goy, it should be allowed. So you see that that there is a little bit contradiction even in Maran. Do you hold like Rosh all the time? So it sounds like you don't hold like Rosh over here. Let's see. Letter Gimel says Rabbi Tzionah bar Shaul. החזון איש בהלכות תפילין, החזון איש rules in בהלכות תפילין, סימן ו' סעיף קטן י' over there, הקשה על דברי הראש הנזכר לאל. He actually questioned the Rosh. How is that possible? Okay, that he asked a question of what's going on, how does the Rosh allow a goy's intervention? ובתירוצו מיושבים גם כן דברי השולחן ערוך. Now with his answer we will understand why Shulchan Aruch had allowance. Let's see. This is the language. והנה אינו מובן דברי הראש. Says Hazon Ish, I don't understand the words of Rosh. Mali rega echad umali davar nimshach. I don't understand. What is the difference between instantly, that's something that's done right away, or something that's done throughout a long period of time? If you want to say that the first second that a goy does something and it's just for that second and he thinks it's going to be done for the Jewish nation and for the Jewish person and it's going to be acceptable. So if it's going to be, if the moment that he started for Lishma, for the purpose of the Jew, so that's it, that's enough. Why you have to have constantly in your mind if it's for the Jew? You started one time, should be more than enough. Why would a goy, if the goy says, I'm starting this for the Jew, why would you even have a thought? Why would you even consider for a second that in reality, that now the goy changes his mind? What kind of idea is this? סתמה, נאמר עד הראשון הוא עושה. וגם כשישראל עושה, אינו אסור הוא הדין אלא כל מה שעושה סתמה, חשב לשמה. Okay? So he says, ואי עביד אנוכרי אחר כך סתמה, and if the goy continues later on to do it just like that, נאמר עד הראשונה הוא עושה. Say, he's doing it really on the beginning point. What are you starting? וגם כשישראל עושה, אינו אסור בהגמנה, it's not going to be אסור in this, אלא כל מה שעושה סתם חשיב לשמה. Again, if the goy started, the moment that he started for the Jew, for the purpose of the mitzvah, that's it. Who cares what his kavanah later on? Who cares about his machshava? Same thing about a Jew. When a Jew starts something and he finishes off, every second he has to say in his mind lishma. He has other thoughts. He has other businesses to sell. He has other properties to sell. Other businesses, other. What's all? Our minds are all over. So he started the mitzvah lishma. So let him finish. Obviously, it's now in his mind is not necessarily. We don't command the Jew even to have it constantly in his mind. So why a goy is commanded? ועוד קשה, and the Chazon Ish on a question, the Rosh, בפרק ב' פסחים. The Chazon Ish asked a question on the Rosh in chapter 2, in Sefer Psachim, Gemara Psachim, over there, on Halacha Psachim, Siman Kaf Katav, in chapter 26 of the laws of Psachim, he writes, Katav v'shem Rav Hai Gaon, he writes in the name of Rav Gaon, Hai Gaon, the matzah שנאפית על ידי נוכרי וישראל עומד על גב, So he says over there that the matzah that was baked by a goy and a Jew is watching, observing him and supervising the situation, it's going to be muteret. It's going to be allowed. It really means that he didn't bake over there. The goy was actually making the dough. He's kneading the dough. As it says over there, even though over there the kneading of the dough takes a long time, right? It's a process. Sorry. ותראה שם שהחזון איש, ותראה שם החזון איש, and over there החזון איש explains, ליישב דברי הראש, this is how he's going to explain the words of the Rosh. This is what we say, that the goy is doing something on his own purpose, for himself. It's not that we're afraid that he's doing it opposite. He's not doing it for the purpose of the mitzvah. Even though the purpose is that the goy is not in the realm of the mitzvah. Therefore, it's not befitting for him to do something that needs to be done for the purpose. Lishma. And also, the goy says, I'm doing it for the purpose of the mitzvah. His thinking is not, who cares? It's nothing. Doesn't affect it. Really anything. Because it's not part of the mitzvah. So what are you saying? I'm doing it for the mitzvah. אבל אם ישראל מצווה אותו, הרי פעולת הגוי נגררת אחר רצונו של המצווה. But if a Jew goes and commands and he supervises the goy to do things, it's what? The person who's acting is acting in the will and the wishes of the person who commands him or who hires him. כיוון שניכר שעושה על דעת ישראל המצווהו ומצווהו. Because you see over here, over there he's actually, you see that it's obvious to us that he's performing the act because the Jew is guiding him or supervising him. Therefore it helps. And the Goy's action, it's like the arrows of the person who's sending him. And the Jew is over here, the one who is enforcing that it should be done for the purpose of the mitzvah. This is only going to work in anything that is immediate or short term. Over there, it's the thought process is only for a second, for a short period of time. Over there, because it's a limited period of time, it's very short time. We could say that it goes after the one who commands him to do. But if it's a labor that takes a long time to do, the continuation of the work is not necessarily going to go after the command of the one who hired the person, the goy. The kevan she'agoy gadol v'yesh lo da'at, because the goy has his own thoughts. And nikar she'oseh al da'at hamitzvah. It's not really. We don't know what's inside his mind. He starts thinking about a Yankee game or baseball game or whatever. And now he's going to start like he's doing on his own. And therefore, it's not going to be so necessarily that it's like he's like an arrow of the bow of the Jew who is guiding him. And that job, small job, where you don't need a big long thought process of doing it for the purpose of the mitzvah, just for a second. But if it's a long process, that it's going a long time, then in that instance, but let's say something that it could be actually made that a person could stop from giving it. Like, for instance, a get, right? We don't encourage get to be given in some cases only. But let's say the guy is giving it against the wishes of the rabbis. So there, it's a long process. The get is actually we want the get should be stopped the process in the middle. Therefore, it is considered to be a long process time. So therefore, get requires every second to be written for the purpose of the divorce. And every second that a person works on it, it's a new labor. If a goy was writing a get, and a Jew is standing and supervising a goy writing a get, it's not going to help. Because in this instance, the workers, the goy's work is not following the Jew's commandment while he's writing. However, when the Jew is writing it, it's not the same. But when the Jew writing it, when he was commanded by a owner of the writer of the get what to do, he's writing it for the purpose when he was told, and over there he's going to write everything for the mitzvah purpose. Therefore, a goy is not allowed to write a get. Let's see. However, things that don't require you to stop it, to interrupt it, like a get, what are you talking about? The working on the height of the animal to make a Sefer Torah, that there is no going back. You started work, you're working on it. Hashiv pe'ula ktsara. That is considered that's a short period of time. Over there, it's not something that's prolonged. Therefore, and in that mitzvah, we're working on the hide of the animal to make a cloth out of it to write a Sefer Torah. It's not a long period of time that he has to observe every second to stop, to control it over there. Once he started the work, let it work. That 1 minute is enough. 1 second is enough. And obviously, once he started it for the purpose of using it Sefer Torah, you tell him, listen, this hide is going to be using for the Sefer Torah. Finish. Once he said it, that's it. There's no stopping it. There's no interruption. So the guy is finishing it for Sefer Torah. As long as the Jew is supervising it and the guy is doing it, it's not a problem. From the first moment already, it's already started for the Sefer Torah, there's no change. Therefore, there will be enough. This is what the Rosh really meant when he said that in reference to the hide of the animal to make it for Sefer Torah, that will be enough. The first moment that he started to working on the letter to make it for the Sefer Torah, until it's finished, there is no interruption. וכן במצת מצווה, so too מצת מצווה, וכן בציצית, so too בציצית, שאין מתחרטים במעשה חשים כרגע אחד. As long as there is no charata, as long as there is no rebuffing or stopping, something to stop you to force, like a get, until you finish writing, until you give it to the Baal, it could be always stopped. So therefore we call that we call to be long process of writing. Therefore the goy cannot do. But these things, tzitzit, matzah, making what's his name, the ladder for the cloth for the Sefer Torah, not be a problem. Because you don't want to retract it, you want to finish. As long as the Jew is supervising there, and therefore everything continues according to from the beginning. And over there, Chazon Ish explained, even if a monkey, we don't need a human being here at all. Even if a monkey is doing the work for you, בתביעת ציצית עם טבעה על ידי שקל בדקת דמי על מכונה שטבעה. What about preparing it by machines? סגי, according to Chazon Ish, will be allowed. דכיוון שהכוח הראשון הביא לשמה, since from the beginning that you started, the starting point was done for the sake of the mitzvah, that will be enough. And therefore you don't need any more men's strength. And Bezrat Hashem will continue the next day, next appointment with this. The halacha is not finished yet. Our auditorium is going to talk, as I promised, between 25 to 30 minutes max. So before we start Od Dalet, it's going to take us to Ozeh. So hopefully for the next shiur number 2, we will complete. Shiur number 3, we will complete this Siman Bet in Or L'Tzion. Have a wonderful day.